Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Um, it's 1 year since we made the change from your chairman to chairperson looking into the ALDP. I can't say how pleased I am at the development that I feel this program has gone through. Particularly for me, what is significant is the structure of the courses and going forward also the selection of the coaches. To see the ratings here today of all the people who have said how wonderful the programs have been, on especially of your colleagues that have returned back from MIT and Oxford, that's I think the biggest win of this year. It is most significant to me because a lot of those people have been through exactly the same programs that we're conducting here today. And you're all sitting here verifying and giving them all 5 on 5 for what they are giving back to you. I think there's nothing more that you can, there's no other validation than a validation like that where graduating years have come back and are giving back to this year's participants. If we look behind the screen, the Anand Leadership Development Program. Let's just break that down for a minute. Excuse my voice, I'm recovering from a bad cough. Firstly, let's take at Anand. As Deepak very rightly described to all of you, what we're doing here today is not new at Anand. My father has been pursuing such an activity for the better part of 50 years. I think the only difference is that what we're trying to do today is to institutionalize it to a degree where our selection process of the individuals, our selection process of the coaches, our selection process of the course criteria and curriculum just becomes better and better and better every year. We took a lot of feedback from all of you at the beginning of the course, at the end of the last course. I think we made some changes this year and more changes we'll make for next year. In particular, strengthening the Connect post-graduation. No one has really talked about that today. You know, you give us all great points on what we've done for you this year. But if I come back and talk to some of you in 2 or 3 years, how has what you've done this year really impacted your career? I think that's the question that all of you will have. And if we don't deliver on that promise, then frankly, we would have failed. So what I would like to do is to hear from all of you, post today's session, through Pooja or directly to me, on how you feel we can keep that connect. But I have a few ideas of my own. Going forward, each of you, with your supervisors and with your immediate bosses and your coach, will have a session in which you talk out what it is that you think your roadmap is at Anand for the next 3 years. It's our job to close the loop, to make sure that we're providing a connect 1 year from today and 3 years from today. It is our job to make sure that we try and receive and get 100% retention of all of you people who we've spent time, energy and effort on. This is something that always my father watched to see how many people remained, how many people left. Every exit is a poor reflection. But similarly, how will you give back? That is something that you all have to see. Now going forward, how are you going to give back to the company that has provided resources, time and energy in building you as managers? The second part is leadership. The few courses that I've seen that all of you have given high rating to, whether it's the communication course or negotiation course, these are absolutely core parts of being a leader. Skill development and what you come with to the table, we all know that's why you're in a program like this, because you have certain skills. But how to develop them? I've seen today a very large array of understanding on the coaching process. That's one take home from me today. Some people have been very target focused on how we're going to improve our performance within the company. Some people have had a much larger overlook at the whole process on seeing how to develop their persona, how to develop themselves as managers. I would just say to you that you're going to have KRAs, you're going to have your superiors giving you targets for quarterly, annually. But take away also, just reflect back what your coach has taught you on developing your own personality. Because Mr. Prasad is absolutely right. You cannot just have your skill set as a finance person or as a marketing person. You have to be an all-round manager. And for that, personality, sense of dress, sense of communication, how to interact internally and externally with the customer, all of those things matter. So please reflect back, because I'm sure each of your coaches in their own way have attempted to segregate their coaching into two parts. One, how do you actually improve in your job content? But second, how do you improve as a manager and as a all-round individual? I would say my expectation of all of you, and I've interacted with each of you repeatedly this year, is to really act and develop as global managers. What does that mean from here onwards? Does your coaching journey stop? Do we no longer at Anand coach you? That's absolutely not true. After all this time and effort put in, I would very much encourage you to keep a connect with your coach, informally and even somewhat formally, because it will help you through the next phase. Because all of you, having gone through this kind of program, are now positioned to be taking leadership positions in Anand going forward. And as I said, it's our job now to make sure we keep that connect with your career path and see where all of you are going to be placed in the next few years. The other major thing that I would say we will be looking at is how we do the selection of coaches. It's a tricky business pairing two people together and saying, discuss your details of your career for 1 year. I've been on the receiving end of it. Sometimes it's worked beautifully, sometimes less so. So this year we'll be taking a little external help and doing a little research on our own on how that pairing should happen. We'll be most grateful for some comments from all of you who have maybe gone through coaching processes at Anand and elsewhere. But we will be looking at that. I think so my main takeaway is two. One, that we ourselves are constantly trying to improve whatever initiatives we are rolling out in Anand. We do things well, we hope, but we want to do them better. And I can only say that for all of you.